It is Wednesday afternoon and week 2, so today we're visiting with Nick Benson and Latham Seed. Nick, thanks for joining us for another fantastic week of our From the Field interviews.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Liz. It's literally from the field today. Things are really moving out there.
A lot of activity in and out of the fields. So first, let's put that warning out there, or that heads up for our listeners, just to slow down and be cautious of tractors and equipment coming in and out of the fields this week and for the next several weeks as our farmers are getting everything taken care of. Just some extra precautions out there.
Yeah, there's plenty of time when you're behind a slow-moving vehicle. So do be careful and take your time and give them room that they need to get our crop in the ground.
You know, the other week during Safety Week, they were talking about comparing a tractor and wagon to a train as to how long it takes the vehicle to stop. So we need to keep in mind that these great big implements do not stop on a dime. They need plenty of space to get stopped too. So let's not cut them off either, because maneuverability is not a key when these big tractors are on the road.
Yeah, another thing on that, Liz, too, is it's not just the farmers. All the cooperators out there with the co-ops and the crop service people. There's a lot of sprayers out here and people driving tending trucks and a lot of anhydrous tanks going around, and those things can be quite dangerous too. So just be alert.
Well, Nick, let's talk about some things. As you said, fields are starting to get planted, and the tractors and everybody's out taking care of the fields. What's the good word coming from the field today?
Well, as the country song goes, Liz, don't blink. I mean, it's moving fast. We have long days and nothing but blue skies. And, how weird is it this week, Liz, to have, 5 or 6 days of sunshine without a lot of wind, in late April. It's just been beautiful out there. You literally almost have to put on sunscreen when you're out walking behind these planters. Things are just, beautiful days, a lot of seed getting in the ground. By Friday, Saturday, we're going to be switching over to beans with a lot of customers. So just conditions are good, and this is what we waited for. This is what we waited for the last 2 years. A window in April, and we finally have it, and it's just a good time to be out putting seed in the ground.
Now, temperatures are great for the seed to be in the ground. We talked about that a little bit last week for our corn, what the ground temps need to be to get that corn seed in the ground. Let's just reiterate a little bit on the temperatures for the corn and for the beans.
Yeah, so that's actually questions I'm getting right now, because we're getting, like I said, a lot of corn seed in the ground right away. A lot of farmers, we got our field work done last week. And so they're putting their ears back. They're putting a lot of seed in the ground, and they're thinking beans already. So guys are saying, well, can I plant beans Friday and Saturday? And my recommendation would be to go ahead and plant those soybeans. We'll be into May then, and soil temperatures, right now we're just hovering above 50. But by Friday, Saturday, they look to be in the high 50s, getting awful close to 60. Be okay getting those soybeans planted in the ground. Corn, there's really no issues now with the calendar and the soil temperatures. One thing to watch, Liz, we're still, there are certainly fields that aren't tiled as well. There still are some pockets of moisture out there, so hit those good fields first, and by Thursday and Friday, some of those more marginal fields, drainage-wise at least, should be ready to go by then.
Well, then let's talk a little bit, Nick, about switching from corn to soybean and the differences. Of course, there's going to be a difference in planting depth as well as spacing. What do our farmers need to make for adjustments?
Well, two things to mention there, Liz, and not just spacing, but also planter speed. I do recommend 4 to 4.5 miles an hour, especially a year like this year where we have a real nice big window. There's no need to crank up to that 5.5, 6 miles an hour on corn. So go ahead and slow down. Make sure we get nice even seed placement. We don't have that planter bouncing. Most planters really work well in that scenario. I do a lot of stand counts after emergence, and those guys that plant 4 to 4.5 really do have a little bit better stance. So stick with that. On the beans, it's inevitable every year. I walk behind a planter, and it does happen where you forget to readjust the depth. So corn, we're looking at 2 inches. Beans, we do want to pay a little more attention to moisture, but anywhere from 1 inch to 1.5 inches, depending on soil moisture. And I'm okay kicking that up a little bit on speed, to go that 6 or plus, even if you can handle it as far as speed with planting beans. The spacing isn't as important.
And of course, we want to remind our farmers to get out of the cab of the tractor and get out and measure as you've gone in and done just a little bit of planting. Make sure to get out and check the depth, check the make sure we're not skipping and spacing is adequate for both the beans and the corn.
Yeah, and then it's everybody that's planting corn and beans knows that. But after 4 or 5 days of super long hours, even the best farmers, we can forget. I forget all the time with that. When you're tired, and so just a reminder to change your depth, change your population, and get those seeds in the ground correctly.
Have a fantastic planting season with this beautiful weather that we've had.
Yeah, just walking behind planters, talking to farmers, it's just great. After the last 2 years, Liz, everybody has a big smile on their face. This is what we've waited for, and certainly the guys are out there enjoying it, and hopefully it pays dividends later on in the season.
Well, we will certainly hope so. And of course, Nick and I will be catching up each and every week right here on AM 950 KOEL about 12:40 each Wednesday. We'll touch base of what's going on from the field in our interviews. And our listeners, if you can't catch the interview or maybe there's something you want to hear again, you can find it on our website, www.koel.com, on our Facebook, Liz Brown and AM 950 KOEL both have Facebook. And Nick, where can our listeners catch it from your side of the view?
Well, they can always get a hold of me on my cell phone, which is 319-415-2312. Either a call, definitely respond to text also. My email is nickb, as in Benson, nickb at lathamseeds.com. And then you can get our field reports every week for our, upper Midwest marketing area at thefieldposition.com. We continue to get more and more hits there. People seem to like it. Actually should be able to get posted today or tomorrow. I do a crop update video from the field. Should get that up there today. And those are good ways to keep up with what's going on out in the country.
All right. Before I let you go this week, Nick, anything else you want to add for our listeners?
Just one real quick thing, Liz, as we're talking here. Always remind the farmers to make sure the seeds are going in the right place. And not necessarily hybrid to soil, that's obviously important, but let's make sure that we're not putting the wrong technology on the wrong acre. Make sure we have rootworm control on corn. And if you don't have rootworm control, make sure that's going on bean or sod ground. So just another reminder there. So other than that, enjoy the week.
All right, sounds good, Nick. We will talk to you again next week, next Wednesday, during our 12:30 Farm Show. Thanks for stopping by, Nick.
Yeah, it's always my pleasure, Liz.